Hello, everyone. My guest today is Daniel Wickberg. He founded a company called Upsales in 2003 when he was 22 years old. He's still CEO and majority shareholder, doing an IPO on April 24th on the NASDAQ First North. Married with 2 kids, private pilot, powerlifter, and a fan of meditation. Daniel, you ready to take us to the top?
Sure.
All right. Tell us about Upsales. What does the company do, and how do you guys make money?
So when we started the company, we provided a cloud-based CRM. And 10 years later, we added marketing automation and also analytics. So we're kind of a sales and marketing and analytics suite, I would say.
Okay, and what space are you playing in? Like SMB, mid-market, enterprise? What's the average customer paying per month?
The average customer is paying around $1,000 per month.
Okay, 1,000 per month. And so what would you put that in? Like probably mid-market pushing enterprise?
Yeah, I would say that. So it's not the pure self-service, and it's not like the Fortune 500 clients we're going after.
And you said you founded this 10 years ago. That would have been, what, 2008?
No, sorry, 2003, 15 years ago.
Oh, wow, 15. Okay, 2003, you were 22. That's very good. So what are you, 37 today?
Yeah, correct.
That's good. I love it. You're an overnight success, right? 15 years in the making.
Playing the long game.
I like that. Okay, how many customers have you scaled to?
We have just over 500 clients today.
That's great. Okay, now 500 customers, obviously at $1,000 price point. We can do the math there, right? So what you're doing about $500,000 per month?
Yeah, a bit more actually. Our ARR right now is around $7 million.
Okay, good. So yeah, you're doing maybe closer to 550, something like that. Yeah, that's very good. Now you mentioned that you're looking at taking the company public, right? So most of us in the States, when we think of this, we're thinking like you have to have at least 80 to 100 million bucks in terms of ARR to think about going public. Walk me through why you guys made the decision to file and go public.
Yeah, I would say, I wanted to sell like a small piece of my shares, and we wanted to raise just a little bit of money because we've been profitable from day one. So, we don't need like a huge amount of cash. And the transaction we were looking to do was it was too small to go to any of the private equity funds. And the traditional VCs, we are growing around 30 to 40% per year. And I like to, keep the risk at a manageable level. So the VCs, tend to see it as not fast growing enough, and the private equity players tend to want to own a majority share. So IPO basically was the only option left on the table.
Yep. Now you said you're growing about 30% year over year. So if you're doing kind of $625 per month today, $625,000, that means you're doing what, like $420,000 about 12 months ago?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Something like that. Yeah. Sorry, a little bit higher. It would have been like 675, something like that. But regardless, healthy growth. So you want to raise some capital because, again, too small for private equity folks, but too little for you to do by yourself. So when you IPO, I mean, how much of the company do you hope to sell and for how much?
So we actually did a pre-IPO placement before the new year. So I sold 10% of my shares, and a former partner of mine owned 8%, so he sold his shares. And then we do a pretty small new share issue with the IPO. It's about $2.5 million.
2.5 million?
Yeah.
Okay, and how much of the company will you sell for that, you think?
So the valuation is 340 million Swedish kroner, which would translate to about $40 million. Okay,
got it. So you're selling about 5%, a little more than maybe 6% of the company?
Yeah, I think around 7.
Yeah, 7% of the company. Now, the 18% that you and your buddy took off the table before in the new year, that's just you guys personally, right? That was kind of personal liquidation?
Yeah, exactly.
And how did you do that with that? Did you sell that 18% to private investors, or that was to actually public market investors?
No, that was private investors, but it's been like one process. So the pre-IPO, we have the same advisor who did the pre-IPO and then doing the IPO.
Okay, so same value. The 18% you sold, was at the same valuation?
It was slightly lower.
Okay, so about $6 million or so then for 18%.
It's something like that.
Yeah. Or maybe 7 million, something in there though. Interesting. And why do you, So why do you want to raise the $2.5 million? Is there some acquisition you're trying to do or a growth channel you want to invest in?
Yeah, I mean, we want to invest more aggressively in the product and in marketing. We are like 90% of our clients are in Sweden, where we are based. But we are starting to get some international traction. So we have a project where we are targeting the German and Swiss market. Part of that money will go into the international expansion.
Okay, but give me like specifically, take me back 15 years ago, your first 10 customers, what did you do to get them? What was your growth channel like back then?
Really hard work and cold calls.
Okay, cold calling.
Yeah.
And who'd you call? I mean, how'd you figure out who to call?
Well, actually, I think I went to kind of the yellow pages. I had an idea because I got my first client through a friend of mine. They were a media company. So I just figured that if I can sell to one media company, I probably can sell to more media companies. So I just made a list of like 200 media companies and I just, hit the phones.
That's so funny. Okay. And now fast forward to today, your last 15 customers, where'd you get them from?
I would say today, maybe 50% of our business is inbound. But it's not only inbound marketing. It's a mix of, referrals from satisfied clients and from our marketing efforts. But everybody says that cold calling is dead, and I mean we don't do like ice cold calling, but we still need to pick up the phone to get some business.
I've never heard that, ice cold calling. Break down your team today? How many people?
So we are around 50 people today.
And how many of them are sales?
Around 15, okay. And half of them targets existing clients, and half of them goes to new clients.
To driving upsell revenue.
Yeah, upsell revenue, and also retention. And
what does your retention look like? Right, so your gross churn annually, revenue churn. What's that look like?
It's actually historically it's been around 10%, okay. But we did some changes last year, so now it's down to 5%.
Okay, and that's gross revenue churn annually.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then what's your expansion revenue annually look like?
So our target is to grow existing clients net 20%.
Okay, which means it'd be about 25% total because you have to cover the 5% that you lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Now you said that's your goal, but historically, what have you actually done?
Between 15 and 20, I would say.
Okay, so not bad. So you expand them 15, you lose 5, so you're about 110% net revenue retention.
No, I mean we expand them around 15 net. So I would say net revenue retention is probably around 115, 120 perhaps.
Okay, got it. But is that because your churn was lower or your expansion was higher? See, obviously, because net revenue retention is you take expansion minus what you lose, and then you get to 115.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the changes we did last year. I mean, it helped it brought down our churn, but it also it improved our upsells.
Yeah. What was that change, by the way, so other people can do the same thing?
Well, historically, I mean, we have a pretty low part of our revenue is services. It's about 15%. So historically, we had one consulting team who built like custom integrations and did product management for new clients. And then we had the kind of account management team. So what we did was we actually merged these two to create like cross-functional teams. So the key account, the account executive, he's the team leader. And then he has like one customer success manager. He has also 2 developers in the same team. And they have like a shared set of KPIs, because the problem we had, the typical situation was that the account executive goes to see a client. The client is pissed about something. And he goes back and tells the consultant guys that we need to fix this now because this client is not happy. And, they have different goals and different bonuses, and it created, a lot of conflict.
Yep. No, that makes sense to me. You have to obviously work that stuff out and get it working smoothly. But now your sales org is about 15 people and humming along.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. What about CAC, fully weighted customer acquisition cost? What do you pay to get a new $1,000 a month customer?
Well, we are kind of sales heavy. So I mean, we look at CAC on an annual basis. So if you look at our total like cost of sales and marketing, it's around $800,000, and with that money we bring in around 1.2, 1.3 ARR.
Okay, so it's like you put in 70-ish cents to get a new dollar of ARR.
Yeah, something like that.
Got it. 70 cents in. Sorry, you said 1.2 comes out?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, interesting. And where are you spending most of that money? Is that mostly like kickbacks, compensation, commissions to your salespeople?
Yeah, I mean the majority of that is it's obviously the cost for the sales team with salaries and stuff like that, and around 30% is marketing.
Yep.
But now when we're going internationally, I mean we're trying to do it more of an inbound game. So are
you profitable today?
Yeah, sure.
But by how much? I'm sure you probably had to disclose this when you filed.
I mean, historically, we've been around 30% profitable over the years.
Okay, 30%. So if you're doing $625 a month today, right, that means you're taking $180 a month to the bottom line?
Yeah, what we're doing right now and in the future, I'm kind of, my hands are tied to say anything about that.
Well, just talk about whatever you can. So when you filed, right, if you said that you're taking 30% to the bottom line, 30% of your current monthly recurring revenue, 620 grand, would be about 180 grand to the bottom line per month.
Yeah, if we look at last year, we did a lot of investment and changes last year, so it was kind of not our best year, but we did revenues was around $6 million, and our EBITDA was so around 25% last year.
Sorry, how much you cut out? What percent?
25%.
25%. Yeah. So again, just extrapolating that forward on a monthly basis, you're doing somewhere added 150 grand to 180 grand a month to your bank account in terms of profitability.
Something like that.
Yeah. Bootstrap the company up to this point, or no? Had you raised?
No, 100% bootstrapped.
That's great. Now, obviously, you're raising now 2.5 million from public markets.
Yes.
Yep. Very good. All right. Let's wrap up with the famous five. Number one, what's your favorite business book?
Ben Horowitz, The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
No.
Okay. Number three, what's your favorite online tool for building your company?
Email and website visitor tracking.
What's website visitor tracking? What do you use?
We track the IPs, to get a list of all the companies.
Yeah, but what tool do you use to do this?
We have it now. We have it ourselves in Upsales, so we use Upsales for it.
Okay, name a tool that's not your own. That is a tool that you use to build the company.
In the past, we used another Swedish supplier called Prospect Eye, but I also like Clearbit has some interesting stuff for that as well, if you're doing something international.
Number four, how many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
I'm sorry?
How many hours of sleep do you get each night?
I have twin sons who are 3 years old, so, not too many, 5 maybe.
5, and you said married with 2 kids?
Yeah.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm sorry, how old am I?
Yep.
37.
Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
How to be more patient with new recruits, I would say.
Guys, be more patient with new recruits. Again, you've got Daniel launched Upsales.com 15 years ago, now doing $630,000 a month in revenue. They've done it all bootstrapped, now going public, raising $2.5 million from public markets, hopefully. Again, really is the sales and marketing go-to platform, especially in Sweden. They've got about 5% gross revenue churn annually, 20% expansion for 115% net. They're spending 70 cents to get a new dollar of ARR, and they are profitable every month, pulling 15 to 25-ish% to the bottom line. Healthy economics. Daniel, good luck. Thanks for taking us to the top.
Thanks a lot.